What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about why Crowfall should probably shut down, at least for now. So in my last video, I talked about how Crowfall was bought by a new developer, Monumental. They are hiring people to work on Crowfall. They hired a new creative director. They've been hiring a bunch of people. They're still hiring people. So for anybody that is a fan of Crowfall long term, there's still some hope because they're putting money into the game, which is great. The problem is that the game is just a zombie slow walking forward until it dies. The current game dramatically needs a shake-up, revamp, something. I think the Shadowbane experiment, Shadowbane 2.0, which is essentially what Crowfall is, was a failure. I just don't think that that can work in today's modern gaming environment for multiple reasons. Some not even being its own fault. Just the way the internet is and how information is dispersed, and Discord, and the landscape is so much different now. To the point to where classic World of Warcraft there can never really be another game like that because so many other factors outside of the video game itself have changed. So I think Crowfall dramatically needs a significant shakeup, and while they have been incrementally making Crowfall better with better chat windows and all these quality of life changes, they just recently did a little bit of a balance tweak. I don't think that's going to be enough to really attract new players because everybody can kind of see the writing on the wall that something significant needs to happen. And I think that there's a lot of qualities Crowfall has that we'll get to in a minute, but there's going to need to be a serious shakeup to really get people like, oh, well, let's check out Crowfall again. No, new class, new game loop, more focus on small-scale PvP, more hour-to-hour activities, a reason to be out in the world when you have everything you need, or maybe you can never have everything you need. There needs to be a dramatic shakeup, and I think that people are okay with playing Crowfall in different ways. Like, I don't mind if I'm playing a Slayer Duelist in some weird new version of Crowfall. Like, I like playing the game. I like the classes, the races, the character builder. There's a lot of good stuff here. But I think realistically, they're going to need to do a wipe, relaunch, that kind of deal. Now, when I say that, I know a lot of people go, wipe, what the fuck, man? I played Crowfall for however many hours. That's kind of bullshit. Now, I think you can do a wipe and still have some goodwill to the original players. Now, the thing with most MMOs that people don't realize is that most MMOs effectively wipe every year and a half, 2 years with an expansion. The wipe is just your gear being inflated away, your currency being inflated away and being much less valuable when they raise the quest reward amounts and things like that. So what they can do for the legacy Crowfall players is let them cash out. Let them spend 10 million gold and get some money bags title for Crowfall 2.0 Steam relaunch. Let them cash in their dust, their belts, whatever. Let them, get that cool legacy, hey, I was around for Crowfall 1 item, and then have all the other cosmetics transfer over to the new relaunched game, whatever. There's a way you can do this and not burn bridges, and in fact, it would actually be sort of neat. And this is not an original idea. Like, this is not the idea of wiping and relaunching is something that many people have discussed on the Crowfall Discord that are, veteran players of the game. Blazin has been playing in about as long as I have and put God knows how much time into the game, and he's on that boat as well. So many of the actual fans of the game are kind of in this wipe, revamp, relaunch boat. So, I think that's probably best case scenario, especially if the game goes Steam relaunch free to play dramatically. And there needs to be a big shakeup with the items, and that's why I think a wipe probably needs to happen, along with the things that I said with the new game loops, new class, just big shakeup in general. I think we need an auction house. I think the Eternal Kingdom trading, local exclusive trading was kind of a failure. I think that a radically simplified crafting system, much more simple items, much less item bloat in general. There's so many items in Crowfall with the way the inventory system is. It is just really annoying. So would love to see just simplified across the board with an auction house and keep those stats. And I know some people are like, simplified items, but I like my stat customization. Keep those stats, but expand them. Imagine, rather than putting the stats on your gear, you have an expanded attribute system that lets you put on secondary stats. Bingo, you have the customization still, and now you have stackable items that are standardized to where they can be on an auction house. And what you can do is have a 20% auction house fee to where you still want to trade locally because it's, you're not paying the tax, but you don't have the inconvenience and the isolation. There's so much isolation in the current system to where if you don't know where to buy stuff, or even if you have the money and want to buy the thing, it is still a pain in the ass. Much less, if you're a guy that doesn't have the money or doesn't have the connection to buy the thing. It sucks. I think the game genuinely needs an auction house, and have the EK still encourage local trading. So, that's where the wipe comes in, is that the wipe gets rid of all these overly complex, convoluted items, and just hopefully we can get the inventory management and item bloat just under control a little bit. So I just listed a bunch of things that I really don't like about Crowfall, 1.0, but there's a lot of things that are genuinely really good about the game. That's why I think Monumental bought it in the first place, is because the character building in Crowfall is cool. Even though so many of the disciplines in the game right now are useless, even with that, and even with all the improvement that could be done there, it's still pretty cool. The classes are genuinely pretty cool. Like the Myrmidon as a concept, pretty cool. The Duelist, pretty cool. Like there's a lot of really neat classes. The races are fantastic. Centaurs, Minotaurs, Elkin, Ganeshan, Fae with the wings and the gliding, and Elkin are cool. I mean, there's so much cool. There's a lot of coolness with Crowfall. The combat, I don't think the combat's too bad either, especially as things have gotten refined. If you're a fan of WildStar combat, Crowfall combat is pretty much there in my opinion. The procedural generation, while some people don't like it because the worlds are a little stale, I think that as they've added parcels, and as they've done things, it's gotten better. And maybe you don't do all procedurally generated. Maybe you can sprinkle in some handcrafted stuff with the procedural. I think that it's a good card to have in the deck when you want to use it. And I think for the most part, it's actually pretty cool the way it's done. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of good stuff with Crowfall. Unfortunately, I don't really think they're in a situation where they can slowly improve the game and really bring people back. Maybe it's not that much effort to keep the live service game running with customer support and all that other stuff. Maybe it's really not that big of a deal, but it's sort of tarnishing the reputation of the game when you have like potentially new players jumping into Crowfall and it's just blah. So that's what I would do. I would shut the game down. I would put out a statement and say, hey, we're going pencils down again for the Crowfall relaunch. This is not an uncommon thing. Many games have shut down and went back into beta before. And honestly, I think that almost gets some brownie points and some kudos for doing that and just saying, hey, we're going back into our pencils down phase and we're going to revamp and give you something a little different. That's what I do, because I still think there's a good game to be had here with the Crowfall tool set, man. I don't care where I'm playing my Slayer Duelist or Frostweaver or whatever. Change it up. I think the you can win model with campaigns and there being defined winners is maybe not the best idea, because many PvP games have more nebulous versions of winning. In fact, like in EVE, it's very hotly debated who is actually winning, because while somebody might have more territory, maybe the other territory is more valuable, or there's many other things, but when it's a defined scoreboard and points, maybe not the greatest. So I'm curious to see if they do some big shakeup, because I think they're going to need it.